The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling...
All right, fellas, welcome to Grown Folks Press Pass. It is not a live show. It seems like as I started to record this show, I missed my buddy Dux, the co-commissioner, the best co-commissioner around. Dude works hard for us, and I appreciate you. Dux, I'm sorry I missed you. I'm actually not feeling all that well today, and so I figured I'd knock the show out, get it done a little early. But hey, I am glad that you were taking time to watch this. I'm glad that you are going to give us a chance to check us out and see what we're all about. It is already going to be week 12 tonight. We're going to be advancing here very, very shortly, and the first year of playoffs is almost among us, and before we know it, we're going to know who our Season 1 champion is going to be. Yes, and that excites everyone. So I'm really excited because it's been a little while. I didn't get to do the show last week. I actually scored some Saints tickets and went to the Dome to watch them barely beat the Cowboys, but my Saints suck, unfortunately, and it has been a terrible season to try to watch. But the good thing is, I am also an Astros fan, and we won tonight, so we're one game away from moving on. And I'm going to go ahead and hold on to them and my LSU Tigers, because Leonard Fournette is a absolute stud. So let me get back focused and get the reason that you guys are listening to the podcast and the reason that we're here. It is time to talk about Week 10 and Week 11. I'm going to go ahead and cover those since there's only one game left. Again, we missed last week, so we actually missed 3 weeks. We missed Week 7, Week 8, Week 9. A lot of great games have been getting in, but let's go ahead and cover some games from this past week, or Week 10. We had a great game with the Bills and the Jets. So the Jets coming away with a 13-16 win at home. That is a good win for a very good Jets team. I think that this game, that's probably what I want to look at it to make sure this was a simulated game. I think that somebody was out of town and they just couldn't make it happen. And you know what? That happens. Now I know it happens, but the Jets get a win and their really good season continues to go on. The crowd's really upset about this. I don't know why. Next up is the Browns falling to the Steelers. The Browns team are much better than their 3-7 record's going to show. The Steelers are actually a very shocking team to me. I cannot believe how good this team is. They come away with a 27-20 win. Big Ben doesn't impress. Le'Veon Bell doesn't. It's okay. I mean, 12 for 71 is pretty good, but you expect to see more than just 12 carries. It seems like he was running the ball really well, but this game really came down to Antonio Brown, 5 receptions, 104 yards, and our Browns owner, that dude can just flat out pass. Doesn't matter who his quarterback is, he can flat out throw the ball around the yard. And that's what Johnny did today. But the Steelers' defense actually played really well. They come away with 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. Shamako Thomas comes away with 6 tackles along with Arthur Moats. That team can play some serious defense. They seem to force the Browns into some unforced errors, and they get the 7-point victory at home. Next up, the Titans fall to the Bengals 34-21. This was a really good game. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I've seen bits and pieces of it and heard that it was a really good game. The Broncos, one of our new owners, comes away with a 35-17 victory against the Chiefs. The new Redskins owner kills me. Just wasn't into this game. It was a long week, and he just outplayed me. It was in the rain, starting a new quarterback, because my season is basically over, and I just didn't focus. It was kind of a back and forth game. Neither one of us ran away with it, but he made me pay. Picked me off twice and came away with a nice victory. The Eagles bouncing back. I'm going to give us a little refresh here since the graphic seems to be messing up at the bottom. If yours does that on daily, just hit refresh and it'll get you right back where you need to be and get the graphic all fixed up. But the Eagles, with an impressive 8-1 start to their season with a 42-33 win over the Dolphins. The Giants squeak out a 1-point victory against the Patriots. Both of those teams trying to stay in the hunt, and the Giants get a much-needed victory to stay in the playoff hunt in the NFC. AFC is going to be a little bit tougher. They seem to have the better team so far. Next, the Rams fall to the Bears at home, 22-14. This was actually a really good game by both teams. These are two really good owners. The Rams came in a little late. I think both are trying to figure their team out, but this was a really good game to watch. The Panthers come away with a 14-9 victory against the Titans. And this was a tough one. The Titans are a really, really good team. They lost Mariota for a little bit. We could probably check out a little bit of the stats here. I'm pretty sure Mariota was out because he got hurt in our game. No, he came back. Played pretty well, too. 11 for 22, 222. You want to see a higher completion percentage, but he doesn't turn the ball over, which is what the Titans are known for. They don't turn the ball over, whereas Cam Newton did turn the ball over. You look at just the quarterback stats, and you'd expect the game to be flip-flop, but this is about Cam Newton rushing the ball. 5 attempts for 66 yards. Stays underneath that running back rule. But if you watch this, you want to see the backup running back get more than just one carry. Yes, you stayed within the rule because the quarterback got 5 attempts, but you want to see that kind of change a little bit. It's just a defensive battle. It looked like the Panthers come away with 6 sacks on the day, whereas the Titans stayed in it with 3 interceptions. And this is just a really good game. Probably an ugly game, but a defensive battle between two pretty good teams, as the new Panthers owner is going to be a force to be reckoned with as he gets a full season underneath his belt with this team. Junior and his new Lions come away with a 24-7 victory against the Packers. The Jaguars, a really young team who's coming around and starting to figure some things out, come away with a 20-17 victory against the Ravens. The Cowboys smack the Buccaneers around 35-17. The Cardinals with a good victory over the Seahawks, 24-20, and the Vikings come away with a really big win over the Oakland Raiders, 48-3. And there it is. That is a look at your Week 10 scores. Let's go ahead and take a look at your Week 11 scores. So this week is going to be wrapping up tonight, as our last game should be kicking off here really soon if it already hasn't kicked off. I don't show. This really isn't a game. He must be playing something else, but I guess that game hasn't kicked off just yet. The 49ers fall to the Seahawks 6-24. The Seahawks seem to be figuring some things out, and the 49ers really are struggling. They've lost so much coming into this season. They got to figure out some things. The Panthers come away with a really impressive victory. Like I said, a new owner, but he's really impressive with this team with a 39-24 victory over the Redskins. I hate to see what he's going to do to me because basically I suck this season. Don't know why. I'm not that bad of a player. Been playing for a long time. Clearly, though, I have not figured this out, and I got to. The Ravens with a tight battle against the Rams, 17-14. This was a really good game. I wish I could have seen this game. I really like the Rams and what they're doing. And the Ravens are just one of those real quiet owners. Don't hear a whole lot from, but he's figuring some things out and he's staying active. Peyton Hillis has made a cameo appearance in the Grown Folks Madden League with 3 carries on the day. Joe Flacco struggled, 9 for 21, but he did get 2 touchdowns, I should say. Nick Foles did not fare much better, 9 for 26. He gets 2 touchdowns, but he throws 2 picks. Todd Gurley is going to be a monster in this league. 16 carries for 67 yards. He's going to get some things figured out and going to keep feeding that dude. He's going to play really, really well. You like to see Brian Quick with the 2 receptions for 150 yards, 2 big bombs, 2 touchdowns. That's what you call efficiency. 2 interceptions, though, from Corey Upshaw. Mosley comes away with 4 tackles, interceptions. Suggs even throws in a sack. Brandon Williams gets 2 sacks. Man, that defense was flying around, making plays, and giving the Ravens a much-needed win at home against the upstart Rams. The The Packers fall to the Vikings, who are now 9-1, 20-7. The Vikings owner just moved over to his team several weeks ago, and I say that probably early in the season, and has really string together some impressive victories. There has been some questions about gameplay, but you know what? The last couple of weeks, he seems to have cleaned those things up. The guy's a really impressive owner, and he's shown it with a 9-1 record. The Falcons whip up on the Colts 42-3. That's probably one of the more shocking scores that you didn't really expect to see. The Jets, after some confusion this week, come back and get a 28-20 victory over the Texans. The Jets are a very, very good team. In my opinion, probably, maybe not, but I would say the best team that I've watched in the AFC so far. The guy just plays amazing defense, and he whipped up on the Eagles, who are really good in the NFC, pretty good a couple of weeks back. The Titans come away with a 17 victory over Faz and his Jaguars. Two board members going at it, and the Titans stringing it over some good wins. The accidental sim loss that he had that messed up his perfect season knocked him off his game a little bit, but he's back, figuring it out. 24-17. The Chiefs with a really impressive victory, 45-21. The Broncos with a 44-21 win over the Bears, and the rest of these games are going to be sims, unfortunately. For some reason, the Eagles and the Buccaneers didn't get a post up until very, very late whenever I started to reach out for a reminder. The Buccaneers had to leave tonight to go out of town, and so this is going to be a simulated game. I lied to you. The Eagles actually got the post up. Come on, guys. I want to see a little bit better. Get those posts up so we know who's who and what's what. The Lions and the Raiders, like I said, are going to be kicking off now, or they're waiting to kick off. They should be kicking off really soon. The Raiders are waiting to get off of work. The Bills and the Patriots is going to be a simulated game straight up because the Patriots didn't post and the Bills are out of town. The Bengals and the Cardinals are going to be, I think, a simulated win for the Cardinals. This was going to be the game of the week this week. I was really looking forward to it. I wanted to see what was going to happen, but the Bengals had to go out of town for the weekend and was going to miss this advance. So that one's going to go ahead and go to the Cardinals. And finally, the last game is the Cowboys are going to get a sim win over the Dolphins. Why? Well, because the Dolphins didn't think it was important enough to get a post up, and the Cowboys and him now cannot find a time to play because today is the last day. So Cowboys are going to get a quick and easy win, and that's going to be how Week 11 is going to play out. And that's it. That is Week 11 and the grown folks. A couple of things that I kind of want to cover here. I want to look at some of your stat leaders and your division leaders, just kind of looking at the AFC East. This is a really good division with some good teams. New England and Miami are hanging in there, but the New York Jets are kind of starting to, they have the opportunity to put some space in between them, especially since it looks like New England and Miami are probably going to get some losses this week. Pittsburgh is just completely running away with the AFC North. Cincinnati's a very good team. Unfortunately, they're just in the same division as an undefeated team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. The AFC South is actually going to be one of the funner divisions to watch because all of those teams seem to be really good. The Jacksonville Jaguars are very young. They're figuring some things out. Houston had some tough losses the last few weeks, and so did Tennessee, but Tennessee is still 8-2. Indy's hanging in there right there with them at 7-3. It's going to be a fun division to see out. The AFC is just tough all around, man. Those are going to be, and you're going to have to win probably 10 games, 11 games to make the playoffs, even as a wild card in the AFC. The AFC West is going to be, all the teams are kind of clumped together. It's just going to be who can hang on the longest. Denver right now has the lead at 6-4, but you never know. Oakland, I still like Oakland, but I think Denver's going to pull it out. I think Oakland has the best chance to give them a run. But look, San Diego's in there, 500. They're 5-5. AFC West, whoever doesn't win it, you're probably not going to make the playoffs. I'm looking for the division wild card to come out of the AFC North. I really like the AFC North. Just taking a look at your playoff race in the AFC so far. You got number 1 seed is your Pittsburgh Steelers. The number 2 seed is the Tennessee Titans. Number 3, the New York Jets. Number 4, the Denver Broncos. Number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals. And number 6, the Indianapolis Colts. On the bubble, you got the Pats, the Dolphins, and the Texans. Again, I think you're going to have to win 10 games to make the playoffs in the AFC, because that is a pretty loaded division. Taking a quick look at the NFC, though, the Eagles have really impressed. Quiet owner, don't hear a whole lot from him, but the guy knows how to win with that team. He kind of handled me pretty well. I do like the Giants, and I like what they're doing. Dallas has had the worst luck of anybody. The guy just has had a string this whole season, it seems like, of guys who aren't showing, who aren't posting. He hasn't really got to play a whole lot. And I do like the new Washington owner. I think he's a really good player right here from New Orleans. And but that belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles by far. And here in just a couple of games, he's going to wrap up the NFC East pretty quickly. The NFC North is another really good division. Junior's trying to make a run with his Lions. The shocker here is Green Bay Packers at 3-7. It's a really good team. I think he'll get some things figured out, but it's not going to happen this year. Minnesota Vikings are really running away with that one also. It's going to be a good matchup between them, Arizona, and Philadelphia about who gets that number 1 seed in the NFC. NFC South is pretty terrible. I do like Carolina with their new owner. I think Tampa Bay is super strong. I'm absolutely terrible, and the Falcons are just beating up on everybody. They're kind of up and down, though, the Falcons. I think the AFC South and the AFC West, and the NFC South are pretty comparable. I don't think your wild card is going to come out of the NFC South. You got to win that division, or you're just not going to make it. But I promise I'm going to get things figured out. I'm going to make a run next year. It's my division. I want to take it back. NFC West, Arizona Cardinals, what I thought was probably the best team in the league. But he's had how can you say that about a team who's 7-2, a couple of hiccups? He really hasn't had any hiccups. It's just you got 2 other teams in the NFC who's just playing slightly better. I think it's going to be a fun matchup between Arizona, Minnesota, and Philadelphia. Personally, I'm pulling for Arizona. Played him. I think he's a straight-up guy, and he's just a really good player, and plays some pretty amazing defense. So I like to see what happens there. Seahawks are trying to stay in it, but the other 2 teams are pretty much out of it. I do like the Rams' new owner. I like what they're doing. I think they're going to put together a really strong team that's going to contend. So, quick look at your NFC playoff race. You got the Vikings, the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Lions, and the Giants. On the bubble, Seahawks, Bucks, and Bears. But again, I think that this is all going to be about those top 3 teams, with the Falcons and the Lions, with maybe a little possibility. I don't know a whole lot about the Giants. I know they've kind of had an up and down season, but those top 3 teams are super strong. I think if you compare the top 3 from each division, those are your 6 best teams in the Grown Folks League, and those are going to be 6 teams, I should say, fun teams to watch. I really wish we could have got to see the game of the week this week. It's really disappointing, but life happens, man, and Johnny had to shoe on out for the weekend, and it just fell on a bad weekend where we didn't get to watch what was going to be a really good game from both of those teams. So there you go. Players are getting their games in, and guys are really starting to roll. Look at your quick players of the week from last week, week 10. Nelson Aguilar went off 252 yards, 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns. It just couldn't be stopped. And the Jets, he does some really amazing things with his safeties. Calvin Pryor comes away with 6 tackles, an interception, and a forced fumble. Both of those teams doing what they're known for. Jets all about that defense and that rushing game, and the Eagles all about that passing game. They really know how to play. Let me just cover a couple of little small things before we wrap this up. Here, really quick, here's some couple of rule reminders. On offense, guys, be careful with the tosses and the stretch plays. It seems like everybody's wanting to bounce everything outside. Look, I think we've hit a really good zone with our sliders. Maybe some small tweaking, but I don't know. I really like them. Running if you call a play to run up the middle, run it up the middle. Every now and then, if you're going to bounce it because it's being eaten alive and there's no room, whatever, that's fine. I don't mind that, but I get nervous. I don't like it whenever a guy, as soon as he touches the ball, he's bouncing outside. Or, there are 4 tosses, counters, sweeps to every one up the middle. It's just, it doesn't seem like good, balanced football. Don't give me all this, well, NFL teams do it, blah, blah. Look, there's a little thing called the AI, and that's a big, big separation between what the NFL is and what we are. So, look, I'm just asking you, let's just tone it down with the tosses and the sweeps as every running play. Try to get some draws up there, some up the gut. Get in between those tackles, and let's see you run some good hard football. On defense, let's be careful with all the shifts. Seeing a lot of shifts of guys shifting every play. To me, shifting every play is just like hot routing every play. It just doesn't look good. Look, you can't argue the fact it tricks the AI and it helps you get easy sacks. It helps you get in the backfield a whole lot easier. I'm not saying that shifting isn't allowed. I'm just saying you shouldn't be shifting every single play. It's not creative play. It's draw it up. If a guy is overloaded on one side, of course I think you should shift. If you have a blitz coming off of one side every now and then, you want to shift to give you a little bit of an advantage, that's fine. But just not every single play where you're moving the linebackers and you're moving the defensive linemen. Look, come out in a different formation that puts those players where you want them. Don't call a play and then move guys where you need them. And then finally, league re-signings, which this kind of become a big deal this past week, and we've got some things that we got to figure out. So there were a couple guys who signed some players to some contracts that break rules. Basically, here are the rules right here. No 6 or 7 year deals. These are the rules. I don't want to get in a long debate about what you think is why and this. This is just what we do, and this is pretty standard amongst all leagues. If they're under 30, 5-year max offer. 30 to 34, a 4-year max. 35 and under, 2-year max. We're just trying to keep it realistic. We're trying to make the salary cap come into effect. And the rule is pretty simple. If you violate it, you're going to be cut, and you got to deal with the cap penalties. Well, we said we were going to do that, and a bunch of guys were threatening to quit, and honestly, I didn't like it. But you know what? I made a mistake this year, so I'm chalking it up to a mistake. I'm allowing teams who have bad contracts to cut that player, sign him as a free agent immediately to a 1-year deal. It's default. You just sign him. It'll be a default 1-year deal. Deal with him in the offseason and follow the rules appropriately. I'm also going to reset everyone's cap penalties in Season 1 after the season is over. I'll clear everyone's cap penalties. We'll all be on the same page. And moving forward into free agency and re-signing players from now on, you know what the rules are. Here are the big things that you got to remember. This is what I do when I go to re-sign a player. I pull this up and I look at it. If it's a bonus, here's what you got to do. Any contract of 3 years or longer must pay out a bonus of 10% of the base salary. Here's an example. If a player is making $5 million over 3 years, then $500,000 of that must be offered as a minimum bonus. You can go over. That has to be a minimum. If you have any questions, ask. If you're re-signing the players, so the guys you have in your team right now that you are re-signing, 10% must be taken from the base salary and offered on a per-year basis. So, if you're re-signing a player to a 4-year deal and you're offering him $750K per season of the contract, you must offer him $75,000 of that as a bonus. 10% of what you're offering per year has to be the minimum of a bonus. The reason we're doing this is so guys put no bonus on anyone, fat contracts, and they can cut that player with no problem. They can trade that player with no problem. Can't do it. It's not realistic, okay? And here's another one. If a player's over 30 years older, they want some guaranteed money. The way we do that is 20% of the base salary must be offered as the bonus regardless of the years of the contract. So if a 31-year-old veteran is offered $3 million to play for 1 year, $600K, 20% of that must be offered as a bonus. This is also for the off-season free agency that we'll go through, that 3 stages that we go through that the game has. These same rules apply. These same rules have to be followed. No team is allowed to go over 25 million. If any team goes over 25 million, that trade or signing or anything like that is going to be denied. So look, please, please, please help us out. Follow those things, and it won't be all that difficult. Here's some other really quick, fast things. We're going to have a new hot seat tonight with that dude, so look for the new hot seat that's going to come out later tonight, along with this podcast that's going to be shot out. Also, please add your number to your Daddy League profile page. Pretty easy. The reason we do this is it's easier to contact owners, especially guys who aren't on GroupMe all the time, or who get really busy. Look, we're not asking for anybody to make phone calls, but a simple text is not going to kill you, okay? The way you do that is you go to your Daddy League, you click over here, you click my profile, and it's going to pull up this page. The next thing is you hit right here, edit profile. After you edit profile, you can put in all your social media contact, you can put in your phone number, and this way, whenever you go to our Daddy League page, you can click on coaches, and all of that information is going to come up right here. So we're missing a couple of things, a bunch of owners, I should say, who don't have their cell phone numbers up there. So please do that. Take a minute, put your cell phone number up there, so that we can text people and get with you. Looks like we got a couple of players that we need to clean up on here anyway, and I'll make sure that we get that all done tonight. The last little reminder is, if you haven't, turn off your kick arc. It's a new thing that we're doing. Unfortunately, it's not a league setting. You have to do it yourself. Please do that. Turn that off so that we can make sure that everybody's on the same page. And one of the more exciting things that I'm excited about introducing is the new incentive program. So here's the new incentive program. A gold expectation is you participate in extra content often. You do your own write-ups. You participate in league write-ups. You participate in the league draft chats and podcasts and live shows, that you participate in these things, that you get a majority of your games scheduled early, majority of your games played early. There's no owner disputes against gameplay. There's no breaking of the rules, and you're just a great supporter of the Grown Folks League and what we do, and pushing us out there to the Madden community. Silver, you participate in some extra content, but not consistently. You do write-ups on your team. You participate in chats and podcasts. You get some of your games scheduled early. You play some of your games early. No disputes against gameplay. No breaking your rules. Great supporter. Bronze is you participate in content every now and then, small amount. You schedule a few games. You play a few games early. You're only allowed 1 or 2 owner disputes against your gameplay. No breaking your rules. Great supporter. So at the end of the year, the board is going to look at that, hand out these new incentives. If you get gold, you're going to get this really cool signature item, Photoshop from me, that you can put on the forums. You can get a top free agent draft position after the offseason is over and the draft's over. You're going to get put at the very tippy top of the list. By overall, if you're tied with other gold members, you're going to get 1 player confidence reset to 50 at any time. So you already get 1 on your bye week, but if you want to use it again, we'll give you an extra one. And you get 1 extra trade piece. So this just means you don't get 1 extra trade, but you get to add 1 extra piece. So instead of 3 pieces, you're allowed a 4th. Silver, you'll get the silver Photoshop item for the forums, 1 confidence boost, and then 1 extra trade piece that can be added. Bronze, you get the bronze Photoshop item added for your signature, and you get the 1 extra trade piece. So we're asking you guys to do this. We take pride in the fact that we push out extra content. We do things like this podcast, and we're pushing things out there. So participate with us, get involved in the forums, get involved in the chat, push out some extra content. If you go here to the media center on our forums, you can see that there's team news up here. This is where we push out everything that's out there. And then if you click here on the team news, you'll see the 4 teams that are actually pushing out extra content. So come on, participate with us. You can also go to the website and see the updates. I try to update at every advance. There's all kinds of neat stuff that's out there. Look, I'm working hard for the league to keep us relevant and keep us updated. You can also go to the home page for the gamers online community and to see the other leagues out there and what they're doing. But look, we really want you to sell all out and be all in here at Grown Folks. And I really appreciate you guys for sticking out with us and learning. I think we have a great community. I think we have a lot of really, really, really great things going. And that's going to be it. We are done. We have found the end of the Press Pass Live. I got to be honest though, I'm a little disappointed we haven't got to do a live show yet because no one's around to join me. But I missed Dux this week. Hopefully next week I'll get him to come be a part of it. I can actually have a co-host and make this an even better show. So, look, thank you for joining us, guys. We will see you next time, Sunday night, usually around 7 o'clock, 7:15. We're going to do these shows, mainly because my family kind of has their own little thing that they do at that time. It's an hour that I can scoot away and do these podcasts. So, I appreciate you. Week 12 is here. Playoffs are around the corner. Good luck in your games. Stay healthy. Get them scheduled on those forums. We'll see you around.